Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being so punctual. I'm now very happy to introduce four very important persons talking about paid content strategies of success. This is what we are going to share today. I want to introduce now, first of all, Cosmin, who's the CEO of LaterPay in Germany. Very warm welcome. Sitting by the side, Kris Nagel, SVP and monetization industry expert from Vindicia in the US. Then we have Dr. Falk-Florian Henrich, who's the CEO and founder of CeleraOne. How do I spell it? Celera? How do I spell it? Right.
CeleraOne.
CeleraOne. So the very international brand CeleraOne in Germany. And finally, we have Nikolay Malyarov, who's the EVP, Chief Content Officer and General Counsel at PressReader in Canada. And I hope you all know already that you have free access to PressReader here, don't you? Yeah, everybody of you. 5,000 titles in your hand on your mobile devices. So we have 40 minutes to share together. I'm very happy to take your questions in a moment. We start here, I would say, for the first 10 to 12 minutes to talk, and then I let you in. General question to all of you in the beginning. Can you please summarize from your individual perspectives, where are we currently? What is the status quo of paid content? Maybe I start with you and we go all the way around. Nikolay.
There is a diplomatic answer to the question?
No, I want the other one.
The paid content models in the digital world have not succeeded today, by and large. From our perspective, they've only succeeded either as an add-on to a print product or a bundle of some sort where the customers saw an extra value being added to the product that they already knew and appreciated that carried a value proposition with it, or when somebody else was paying for access on behalf of those customers. From our perspective, that's where our biggest success has come through. It's not from individual users paying for access to the service. It's for access being given for free as part of the guest or hotel experience, and it was paid for by somebody else.
Would you share his opinion or view on what's going on?
Honestly, not exactly. In my opinion, we don't only see success in the US, for instance, in the paid content sector, but we also see successful examples of paid content implementations here in Germany. For instance, Bild is, in my opinion, a very successful player in the paid content market. The same is certainly true for Süddeutsche, for instance, and for Welt also. What we see currently in the sector of paid content is that it is somehow growing up. So during the last couple of years, those were, at least for Germany, the first starting years of paid content. Now it's growing up, and therefore companies, publishers are experimenting a lot with the models. They adapt models. They try to improve conversion and optimize it. And I think through this type of optimization process, we will see some changes in the near future, and we will certainly see advantages in this space. So I would not say it's in a really critical situation.
Coming back to optimization questions, so later, and also to Bild and AZ. Kris, your perspective?
I think I'm probably somewhere in the middle. You know, I think it depends largely on market. The US is much more centric around a paid model, or people are used to paying for it. In other markets, not so much the case. Today, we've got about 180 million paying users on our system, and these are from people all around the world. So there is definitely a maturity in some places in the market, and others vary. But in general, I think we're kind of at the infancy stage still of paid content.
If I ask you why the success of 100 million people is there, what is our core subjects or core words that you think are responsible for the success? Is it flexibility? And what is it that has created that success?
There's kind of two parts to that question. On our client's perspective, it's the ability to be flexible, but also to personalize, right? I think now we have, and we've heard it all morning, the discussion around data and the availability of data and our ability as providers to target very specifically what an end user might be ready to purchase when they're ready to purchase it. So I think, you know, the flexibility to create that offer and understanding of what that user might be interested, so you present just that right kind of offer at the right time.
Cosmin, your perspective on the things going on.
I would fully agree with you that it is at an infancy stage. I think that while video is already a growing market, or games is already an existing and growing market, journalism is pretty much at the beginning. And it's a mix between we do it this way because we've been doing it this way all the time, and Jugendforscht, which I don't know English, but so trying to navigate to the right model, and I think there is no right model. That's why there's so much insecurity in this market. Everyone is trying to find that one golden egg, which probably doesn't exist. It's a combination of subset of tiny little eggs.
Please, Nikolay.
But I think that's where the problem lies with so many publishers today. They're so used to working within the paradigms of their own brand, their own product, that they control distribution, control the customer experience, control everything, that they see that as the only way of distributing their content, even digitally. And this is where the problem is, that the consumers are so diversified today, where they access content, how they want to access content, which device they want to access content. And so there is no silver bullet or golden ticket or golden egg that you've called it. And if you do want to develop a successful monetization content strategy, it could come from so many different ways. All of them in aggregate will complete that success.
I think that there's also a lot of insecurity in the market because everyone is trying to find a risk-free solution to the problem, and there is no risk-free solution to the problem. And if you look at the US, which is a market that's driven by chances, like, okay, when I do this, how big could it get? What could I get out of it? In Germany, you have rather the risk-averse part of it, which is, if I take this decision now, is this going to hurt me? Mm-hmm. And there you have a lot of experiments that are non-starters right away.
Join in, please.
I mean, it's easy to generalize, and I don't disagree with you on this approach, but I think you'd find, even in the US, quite a number of publishers still averse to change. And I mean, everybody looks up to what the New York Times is doing, and New York Times is largely, credited for being probably forward-thinking in terms of what they do, at expense of a lot of other things. So I'm not trying to white lily the New York Times, but you go into this medium to smaller publishers. I was at the conference in Seattle, at the Mobile Media Strategist Conference, just about 2 weeks ago, and I was moderating a panel where a publisher got up and we talked about the distributed content. That's what the panel was all about. And the publisher says, well, I know that my audience doesn't use Facebook. Oh, it gets better. That's why I don't do anything on Facebook. And at that point, you just kind of, you stand there. I don't have a follow-up question to this. I don't know what to ask. If you're so definitively can say in 2016 that your audience doesn't use Facebook, then...
Okay, more on that. I would like to become a little bit more practical, yeah?
So my experience with the publishing companies here in Germany and other European countries that we talk to is that even regional German publishers are pretty much aware of their users clicking around on Facebook, and they are absolutely aware that they have to change, that they have to push apps into the market, that they have to move on faster than they did in the past.
But?
And they need tools that help them do so. In this regard, I would like to stress the fact that was mentioned before already, that publishers need tools that allow them to flexibly change and adapt to the situation in the digital space. Yeah, this means I want to be able, as a publisher, to change my paid content model. I want to be able to change what I offer to the user, and in particular, I want to be able to change the audience, the way I approach the audience, the customer experience, and that's, I think, the major technological problem. I think publishers did address the awareness problem already, at least those that I talked to.
I'm pretty much convinced after a couple of years in this market that it's a matter of a state of mind. It's not the tools. The tools have been there for years now. They have been untouched or largely untouched. It's a state of mind. And when they reach that state of mind, being forced by decreasing revenues or just because they evolve, it doesn't matter, then they start using the tools. But tools have been out there. This is, I think, one of the oldest excuses that I know in this market, that it's always about the tools.
Coming from the mindset, a bit more to your strategies and how you can create, or what you have to offer to create success. You said in our first talk that you say payment is a bitch. What are your strategies to give an idea that payment can be overcome as being a bitch?